Tracy. Welcome to or welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so excited to show you this cake. This cake is the first cake I've ever entered into a competition. And I won a ribbon! 2 actually. 1 first place in the wedding category. And 1 best in division for foreign techniques. Disclaimer! I am completely self-taught. I haven't taken any professional lessons, so the techniques I show you in this video may or may not be the correct techniques to use if you were to enter a competition yourself. So with that said, I will show you step by step how I decorated this Lambeth style cake, including the piping tips I used and a few techniques as well. Since this took me so long to make, over 100 hours, I think I stopped counting at 100. I have broken the video up into 4 parts. The first part will be the top tier. The second part will be the middle tier. The third part will be the bottom tier. And the fourth part will be putting it all together and putting on the finishing touches. This is part 1 of that series, the top tier. I'm using the number 1 round tip to block out where I'll be laying down my first layer of icing. Using the number 18 star tip, I'm going to create a barrel between those guidelines. As I'm piping, I'm using a circle motion to create a rope-like effect. Using a damp paintbrush, I'm cleaning up the little ends. And I'll do that all around the cake. Using my number 1 round tip again, I am creating a guideline where I want the second layer of icing to go. Just gives me a general guideline so I know how deep I want the rest of them to be. So this time I'm using a slightly smaller star tip, number 14. And instead of a round motion, I'm using an up and down motion. Don't like that one. Let's get rid of it. It wasn't quite deep enough in the center. There we go, that's a little better. For the top of the cake, again, I've already marked the spacing, and I'm using a number 18 star tip to create a barrel at the top. Now I'm just measuring to see if the lattice I piped fits between that space.
and then I'll pipe the barrel every other way. And a lot of times I will count how many rounds I do. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Using the same size tip, number 18, I'm going to create a small swag on top of the barrel at the bottom. And I'm piping it low on the swag so you'll see the texture beneath it. Again, with my paintbrush, I'm cleaning up those ends, making them a little more pointy. Oh, didn't like that one. Let's try it again. So a couple days before I started decorating the cake itself, I printed out a template that I made, and I'm piping little lattice designs. For these little lattice designs, I am using a number 1 round tip. Using a damp paintbrush to straighten out that line a bit. After I pipe the lines, I'll take my paintbrush and clean up the little ends. Then I take some of the royal icing and I thin it down with a tad bit of water. I use that to fill in the border. I also pipe some lattice designs on the top edge of a foam dummy and I let them dry. And now I'm gluing them on with a bit of royal icing. Sorry it's blurry. I fixed the focus in just a bit. Now, using a number 18 star tip, I will pipe a line right on top of that barrel. Clean it up with my paintbrush. Now I'll pipe down a layer where I will be later piping the scrolls. To do that, I'm doing a circular motion and then a pull to make an end, and I'll do that in both directions. Now, moving to the bottom of the cake, I'll use the same tip, and with one smooth motion, I'll do a circle and a tail. I've placed my little lattice designs on the cake where I want them to be. Now I'm taking some royal icing and gluing them in place. I'm changing the placement of that one just a bit and cleaning up the icing residue. Using a number 14 star tip, I'll pipe a small shell border right around the bottom. And you'll see underneath the cake I have some parchment because I'm going to be removing it off the parchment after it dries. Switching tips again to a petal tip, number 102, I'll pipe little ruffles underneath the barrels and the lattice. And I'll clean up and remove the areas I don't particularly like. Now I move from bottom to top and bottom to top in order to let the layers that I've piped crust over so it has more strength to hold the ones that will be on top of it. So now I'm moving to the bottom of the cake again with a number 3 round tip. And with the number 3, I'll pipe a string right underneath the top barrel and also one underneath the bottom design. Then I'll move to a slightly smaller tip, and number 2, I'll pipe a string right through the middle, then I'll overpipe the 2 number 3 strings. And moving down to a number 1 tip, I will do the same thing. This adds some beautiful depth to the string work. And I know close up you can probably see every one of my little imperfections, but it's all fun in the end. Going back to a round number 3 tip, I'm going to add some strings on the top bottom design. Here I've used a piece of cash register tape to wrap around the cake just to act as a guideline for the bottom of my strings. With a number 3 round tip, I'm piping swags all around the cake. Next, using the same tip, I'll pipe little swags where the ruffles meet the lattice, and right underneath where the ruffles meet the barrel. I'll pipe a line on top of this also. Now I'm adding some string work on the top of the cake, still using the number 3 round tip. Moving back to the bottom of the cake, I'll pipe my first string scroll. These are so not easy. It's especially difficult for me to get them consistent in size. Guess I need more practice. Alright, now I am changing the tip to a number 2 round tip. I'll pipe a second layer of swags right underneath the first. And you can see I've moved the cash register tape down a bit. And after I've done that all around the cake, I will overpipe the number 3 strings. I will also overpipe the bottom strings and scrolls. And the top strings I'll overpipe too. And while I had the number 3 tip, I forgot to pipe these scrolls, so now I'll switch to a number 3, pipe them, and overpipe them with a number 2. I'll overpipe the number 3 string on the very top of the cake and add a second one very close to the first. Then going down to an even smaller tip, a number 1, I will overpipe some strings and add some new strings. I'll do that on the entire tier. after I've got most of the lines piped with a number 1, I'm going to switch the tip to a 59 SL petal tip. And with it, I'm going to add little ruffles around the lattice on the top of the cake. I've switched my tip again to a number 1 round tip, and I'm going to outline all around that top design. Going back to the 59 SL tip, I'll add a little finishing element right where the strings meet. And that is all I'm going to do on this tier for now. I'll finish the rest after I have them stacked. Thank you for watching.